We are right in the middle of a massive AI supercycle. I'm talking about a boom that is creating once-in-a-generation opportunities. So if you've ever been even a little bit curious about building something with AI, this is your moment. It's time to get serious, and we're going to show you exactly how.
And that's not some hypothetical. That is a direct quote from an entrepreneur, Liam Otley, who actually did that in under a year. It just goes to show you the incredible potential that's waiting for anyone who is willing to just jump in, because the financial upside right now is absolutely massive.
That's the big question, isn't it? With all the noise, all the hype, it can feel kind of impossible to see where the real opportunities are. But don't you worry, that's what this is all about. We're going to give you a clear, straightforward map to navigate this whole new landscape. So let's start by framing this the right way. This isn't just another little tech trend. What we're in right now is a genuine gold rush, an AI supercycle that's creating entirely new markets, completely from scratch.
I mean, really think about what that means for you. Unlike, say, finance or law, where you're up against people with decades of experience, the modern AI space is just a few years old. The gap between a curious beginner and a top expert, it's surprisingly small. And with some focused effort, you can close that gap and start monetizing your skills incredibly fast. So you're ready. You're ready to stake your claim in this gold rush. Well, the very first step is choosing your path. And every journey is different, right? So we're going to break down the 5 most common and, frankly, most effective ways to build a business in AI today.
And here it is. This table basically shows you the fundamental trade-off. Over on the left, you've got paths like consulting or freelancing, zero startup cost. You can literally get started today. But as you move over to the right, you start to see the models with the highest long-term potential. We're talking an agency or a full-blown SaaS product. The key is just knowing where to start and where you eventually want to end up. And this right here, this is where the real strategy comes in. You don't have to pick one path and stick with it forever. No way. The smartest play is to leapfrog. You could start with consulting, learn the market, build up some cash. Then you use that experience and that money to launch something way more scalable, like your own agency or even a software product. All right, so you've seen the different paths. Now, let's talk about the tools you're going to need for the journey. Honestly, mastering just a few core skills will put you in the top 1% of people in this space. And the best part? They're really not as complicated as you might think. First up, prompt engineering. This is your foundation. See, instead of just asking the AI a simple question, you give it super precise instructions. You start with role prompting. You tell it, hey, you are an expert copywriter. Then you use shot prompting. Give it a couple examples of what a perfect output looks like. Then add task context so it knows why it's doing it. And finally, use some simple markdown formatting, like headings, to keep your requests clean. These 4 steps will change the game for you. Next tool in the box, understanding APIs. Now, I know this sounds technical, but trust me, the pizza shop analogy makes this dead simple. An API is just how different software programs talk to each other. It's the phone number. It connects you to the pizza shop's kitchen. You make a request, 1 large pepperoni, and you get a response, a hot, delicious pizza at your door. That's all it is. And here's why these skills are so powerful together. When you combine great prompting with the ability to connect different apps using APIs, well, now you can build real solutions. You can create custom AI tools that automate boring tasks, analyze data, or generate content. You can provide huge value to clients or, just for your own business. Okay, you have a path. You have the technical skills. But a great idea isn't a business until it's built on a solid foundation. So let's talk about the essential legal steps you need to take to protect yourself and your work as you start to grow. Think of this as your 100-day checklist. First, incorporate. You need to separate your personal assets from your business. It's a must. Second, protect your intellectual property, your IP, because your code and your brand are your most valuable assets. Third, understand data privacy laws like GDPR over in Europe and CCPA in California. In AI, these are non-negotiable. And finally, get your contracts in order. Make sure everyone is on the same page from day one. So when you go to incorporate, you're pretty much going to face this choice. A C corporation is usually the best way to go if you plan on getting money from venture capitalists, just because it makes issuing stock really easy. On the other hand, an LLC is way more flexible and has a simpler tax structure, which makes it perfect for smaller businesses or if you're going solo. So let's recap. You've got the business models, you've got the skills, you have the legal framework, but where do you actually apply all this? Let's look at just one example of a massive tangible market that is just begging for some AI-driven innovation. Take a look at this number, $250 billion.
That's the annual cost of chronic disease just in the Asia-Pacific region. It is a colossal problem. It affects millions of lives, it's straining healthcare systems, and problems on this scale are exactly where AI can make the biggest difference.
The solution is what experts are now calling intelligent healthcare. And this isn't just about putting records on a computer. It's about building on that digital foundation with artificial intelligence to give people proactive, adaptive, and truly outcome-focused care.
You can see the whole evolution right here. I mean, it took 30 years just to get basic computers in the hospitals, then another 20 for electronic records. Digital health tools only popped up in the last few years. But this next leap, intelligent healthcare, it's happening right now. This is where AI finally takes all that data we've been collecting and turns it into life-saving action.
And listen, we just used healthcare as one example, but this AI-driven transformation is happening in every single industry. Finance, shipping, education, you name it. The fundamental opportunity to solve huge, expensive problems is literally everywhere you look.
So there you have it. You have the playbook. You understand the business models, you know the core skills you need, you've seen the legal first steps, and you understand the massive scale of the opportunity. The only question left is the most important one. What problem will you solve? What will you build?